Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Police Scotland, an organisation that seems quite incapable of arresting three people at the same time, has decided to impose draconian rules on personal grooming that are totalitarian, without merit, and would probably break international human rights. It's that bad. They are saying that forthwith, male officers must be clean shaven. They must not have beards, and they are ordering officers to shave them off. Why? This has not been done with any consultation with officers yet. It is obviously going to be open to challenges on grounds of medical grounds, on grounds of religious rights, on grounds of personal freedoms. There are so many challenges able to be brought against this. And even knowing that, the police force are still going to impose it. It is madness. They cannot get their own house in order. They cannot do their own proper job. And yet they're going to make lives miserable for people who work for the police, both active officers and civilian staff, by having them to take their beards off whether they like it or not. For some people, the act of facial hair is a religious observance. For some, they're just more comfortable with it to hide a weak chin or some scarring or some such thing. And yet that is going to be looked at. I mean, who are they to impose this? This is an act of a totalitarian state. They're obviously going to have a challenge in court, and it's obviously going to fail. So why do it? Why do this? Anyway, we'll have a look and we'll see why they're trying to bring it in, although it's the most spurious reason. And I think there is another reason. I think the reason they're giving for it is, okay, it's plausible, but it's not genuine. And I think there is a far more likely explanation, which I'll get to in the video. Here goes. So, Police Scotland. Beard ban draws complaints from officers and also from civilian staff who work for the police. The Scottish Police Federation, the SPF, has said it has been inundated with complaints over a new policy from Police Scotland that will require officers to be clean shaven in order to wear protective masks. That is a very unlikely story. As in, no, I don't doubt that that's the story that Police Scotland are putting out. But there's no way that beards would affect the use of masks generally. Speaking to BBC's Scotland's Good Morning Scotland programme on Friday, SPF's General Secretary David Kennedy said the plan has caused considerable angst among officers, adding he has never seen so many complaints come in during his time as a full-time official. And he's going to get a lot more because there's so many reasons to say no to this policy. Police Scotland said that the policy is being brought in to protect those on the front line, as wearing the FFP3 mask properly requires the face to be clean shaven. It's bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. How many times do officers need to wear full FFP3 masks? This must be what they're planning. And if that's the case, you need to know why are they planning for it? What do they think is coming? And have plans drawn up and let people know what they think is coming up, simply as a matter of health and safety. Mr. Kennedy said that the SPF, which this is the Scottish Police Federation, which represents rank and file officers, does not believe the police would have to wear the masks often, which is the root of the problem, which is causing the angst for several police officers. I'd imagine more than several. Several will have genuine reasons, but there'll be generally across the board reasons people have for wearing a beard. And it's nothing to do. Well, how you're groomed has got nothing to do with your employer, so long as it is neat and it is clean. And so outside of that, there is no reason for your employer to tell you what to do, how to dress, what to wear. You have your uniform, you wear your uniform, but your facial hair is your business. He added, the health and safety executive guidance is that a policy like this should only be utilised as a last resort, and there have been relevant questions raised by officers as to why this policy is now being proposed. Well, I would suggest that any officer who wishes to wear his beard continues to do so. Police Scotland said there will be exemptions to the clean-shaven rule on religious or medical grounds. Everyone in the police needs to just put up, say, religious. And when they ask you what your religion is, they say, you're not allowed to ask that question. It's an improper question. My religion is my business. My beard is my religious right. And that's the end of it. It's as simple as that. They cannot ask you. They're not allowed to ask you what your religion is. Well, they're allowed to ask you, but you're under no obligation to reply. You just say, it's my business, and the beard stays. And there is nothing they can do, because human rights. People would be facing misconduct if they didn't shave, it says, and some officers may have to shave twice a day for these masks to work. Again, rubbish. He said there'd been no consultation on the policy as yet, and he believes Police Scotland will impose it because it's draconian and it's got nothing to do with masks. Mr. Kennedy added he hopes the force will revisit the policy, arguing there are other health and safety issues it should be focusing on. Police Scotland said the policy will come into force in the next few weeks. Only for those people who aren't prepared to go, no, it's my religious right. And that's it. And any officer with a beard just puts his hand up and says, no, I wear it for religion. And that's it. They can do nothing. They can do nothing. And here's the other thing. If you're allowing some people to do something and not allowing other people to do something, and you're discriminating on the grounds of religious freedom, then it is illegal. 2010 Equality Act. He can wear a beard because of his religion, and you're telling me I can't wear a beard because of his religion. You break the Equality Act, it's the end of the story. There's nothing they can do. It's a stupid law. What? Who's making these decisions? Who's coming up with these bright ideas from Police Scotland? Because you need to find out who it is and fire them, because they're fucking idiots. Anyway, Assistant Chief Constable Alan Spears said the safety of our officers and staff is a priority, and the policy around the use of respiratory equipment is being implemented to protect those on the front line. Do you get a lot of attacks that you need to wear masks effectively? No. The answer is no, you don't. It's bullshit, isn't it? Significant learning from the COVID pandemic identified that FFP3 mask, which is face-fitted and requires the user to be clean-shaven, offers the most appropriate and effective respiratory protection to officers and staff. Yes, it probably does. It's a little bit of cardboard. It's a little bit of cardboard with some paper with holes in it. It offers very little protection, certainly not to viruses. So don't even get on that one. We all know what it looks like. It's those little, it goes around the ears, pointy like that, sort of. Not the paper mask that's sort of flat like that. It's a slightly more pointed one. But this bullshit about protection. It's bollocks. That's a bollocks. Anyway, the respiratory protective equipment policy mandates that where it can be reasonably foreseen that an officer or member of staff will use an FFP3 mask in the course of their duties, they should be clean shaven. Should be clean shaven, not must be clean shaven. Anyway, the exception to this policy covers officers and staff who cannot shave for religious, cultural, disability or medical reasons. And in these circumstances, Police Scotland is seeking to introduce an alternative type of respiratory protection. And that's fine. You cannot force people to shave. Commenting on the news, Chris Phillips, employment law specialist at Thornton, said, at its most extreme, it could amount to indirect discrimination under the Equality Act, which I have said. Especially for religious groups for whom the wearing of a beard is part of their religious observance. It is a complex issue, and there have been previous cases in England, but I suspect in this case for Police Scotland, it can be justified on health and safety grounds. It cannot be justified on health and safety grounds. If you are given an exemption to one group, then that exemption must be given to all groups. Otherwise, you are breaking the 2010 Equality Act, because you cannot discriminate on grounds of religion. And so therefore, if he can do it because of his religion, I can do it, and you can't stop it. And it's simple. Anyway, let's round that off and come up. But it'd be interesting to know whose bright idea this truly was. Anyway. So there you are. Police Scotland trying to bring in this sort of totalitarian rule. And I said at the beginning that there is another reason for it. And I'm going to tell you what I think the reason is. It has got nothing to do with the health and safety of officers. There will be some, of course, they can't do it because of their religion or whatever. But generally, I think they want to remove beards simply because beards are seen as being masculine, male. This is a male-oriented thing. I mean, I've known a few women that have a few little moustaches and things, but nothing bushy like this. But it means that you can see someone and you can tell straight away that they are male. And this is coming from the woke wankery that runs and permeates all the establishment, not just in Scotland, but apparently all around the world. And if they can remove beards from officers, it means that those officers who are physically male, but who want to be known as a female won't feel threatened by having obviously macho maley men with their big bushy manly beards. And it also means that they can hide in plain sight. They can confuse what gender they are because there's no obvious sign of being male and maleness with the beards. And I'm pretty sure that that is the real reasoning behind it. The removal of obvious sexual differences between men and women, such as things like big bushy beards. And it is all that constant push for the woke wankery to, diminish what it means to be a woman and diminish what it means to be a man. Well, I won't be diminished. I've got my beard. It's taken me a little while to grow it again. I took it off, but I took it off out of choice. Yeah, I wear it, and that's fine. And if anyone wears a beard, that's up to them. Nobody should have the right to tell you to take your beard off. And as I say, there's enough exemptions. All you have to do is say, no, it's my religion. And there is nothing they can do. And if they threaten you and say, if you don't take it off, we're going to, give you some form of punishment, say, do that. You do that. And then you whip them straight in to a tribunal and you prosecute them because they have broken the 2010 Equality Act. And let me tell you, there'll be plenty of solicitors out there willing to take that case on pro bono. They'll do it for nothing, just to see the police squirm and have to cancel this policy. And I suspect that this policy will be cancelled. This will not be implemented, and I think it will be cancelled very, very quickly, given the backlash and given the fact that it is legally very, very dodgy. So watch this space. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this space. If you like what you see here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. But definitely leave a like. And until next time, stay safe, stay well. If you're the sort of person who likes to wear a beard, regardless of whether you're male or female, you go for it. And goodbye.